Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. We're going to have some fighting words. But before we go any further, I need for you to like this video and please subscribe to my channel. So in this video, I want to talk about the Charlo twins. Is it just me, or is every time these guys show up to a fight, somebody else's fight, they always end up in a fight? Like, these two can't go anywhere. They are like the ultimate heels. It's like, I don't want to say it's like WWE, but when the Charlo twins are around, it's like WWE. And they're like the New World Order or something like that. They're the villains too, right? I love the Charlo twins. I think they're great for the sport. I like their aggression. I like the fact that they like hate everybody and that they're always feeling that everybody is against them. It's just fun to listen to them talk. However, they got into like a little bit of a scrap with Jarret Hurd. Jarret Hurd used to be the champ at 154, and then he was dethroned. He recently had a loss, so technically nobody's really been thinking about Jarret Hurd in that sense. Now, what's interesting is that he gets into like a little scrap with the Charlos. And the reason why I'm making this video is because it was Earl Spence who's just like, oh, you guys are just like, stop it. Like, what are you guys doing? Now I don't exactly know how he means that. Does he mean that in the sense of, are you two trying to build some kind of like intrigue so that people would want to see you two fight? Or do you two really have like a beef and you guys need to settle it? Well, Jarret Hurd, has two. Granted, Charlo has a loss, but really, you can make the argument that he beat Tony Harrison. But we're not going to talk about that. Not going to go there. Jarret Hurd's losses were like impact losses. Like he got beat up. So his were like legit losses where, judges weren't needed. Now, maybe there is beef there. I'm not saying that there isn't any beef there. I do know in the past, they were calling each other out. It was mainly Charlo calling out Jarret Hurd. However, my question is, are you trying to build some intrigue for a fight between the two of you? And if so, then why? So this is the only thing that I can conclude. I'm speaking to Charlo, that everybody wants to see you fight Brian Castano again, because many of us believe that if Brian Castano didn't win, that fight should have been a draw. You weren't a clear cut winner in that fight. Whatever happened with you and Harrison happened with you and Castano. So, you two need to settle that. We all know Castano wants the rematch. I want to see the rematch because I like watching competitive fights, as I'm sure you all do. We want to see the rematch. So why are you trying to build up a beef with Jarret Hurd? Because that's the only way that I can take the response by Earl Spence is, it just seemed kind of, I don't want to say like not rehearsed, but coincidental. I don't know. Maybe you text him like, hey, Jarret Hurd, I'm here. Like meet me in the front row. I don't know. It just seemed a little questionable that you two run into each other and then there's like a physical thing. And not to mention, so I don't know if you've ever noticed anything about the Charlo brothers. When they're by themselves, they're less froggy. But when they're together, it's just like a fully formed unit where if you touch one, you're touching the other one, and then it's all systems go. Well, they're both there, and I see one of the brothers, what seemed to be one of the brothers trying to like diffuse, but like I said, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. One thing I do know about the Charlo brothers is when they're together, whatever's about to happen, it can happen because they're together. When they're separated, it's more of a conversation going on. I'll just say it like that. I'm not saying that they're fearful or they're scared or anything like that. They are professional fighters and they're champions at that. What I'm saying is probably because they're twins, they're a lot more comfortable with a confrontation outside the ring when they have the other beside the other. That's what I'm saying. And it was weird to see one try to, now granted, they could have been a legit beef between them and he was like trying to diffuse. Could have been. I just find it weird. And then there was like a mini interview with one of the Charlos, and he's saying, well, the interviewer was basically asking, hey, are we going to have the rematch with you and Brian Castano? And he's like, yeah, the world wants to see that, but we can have it with Hurd too. And he throws out Jarret Hurd's name. And it's like, why are you throwing out his name? Because it makes me think you don't want Brian Castano. Why are you throwing out Jarret Hurd's name? The interviewer didn't throw out Jarret Hurd's name. You threw it out. Now, granted, you just had a little altercation, whatever, but you threw it out. We want to see you fight Brian Castano. We want to see you fight the guy who almost dethroned you. That's what we want to see. We want to see compelling and competitive fights. We don't want to see you fight Jarret Hurd, who, is on a losing streak, and he lost badly. In his last fight, he lost badly. We don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. There was a time when I was desperately wanting Jarret Hurd versus Charlo. Not now. I got to be honest with you. Not now. I don't want to see that. Not anytime soon. You can do it after Brian Castano. Sure. I mean, because styles make fights. And who doesn't want to see Jarret Hurd fight? I mean, he's like the black version of Arturo Gatti. Who doesn't want to see Jarret Hurd fight? When you talk about blood and guts, that's Jarret Hurd. Not a whole lot of slipping punches over there. It's just like, I'll take what you have and I'll keep going forward. That's how he is. And then you got Charlo, who throws bombs. Like his jabs are bombs. Who doesn't want to see those two fight? But at the same time, I want to see you fight the guy that's more competitive. Not the guy who's, technically speaking, tailor-made for you. Yes, you versus Jarret Hurd would be amazing, and it would also more than likely go in a knockout. But I want to see you with Brian Castano. I want to see you settle that first. I want to see who's the best at 154. I don't want to see who's arguably the best. I don't want to do that arguably stuff. I want to say he is the best. That's what I want to see, and I hope that's what you all want to see. You want to see the best fight the best. I don't want to see any ducking, and I don't want to have to make a video on ducking. I don't want to disrespect anybody or anything like that. That's not what this channel is about. But at the same time, you know how we do on this channel. We're straight shooters. I'm a straight shooter. If you're ducking, I'm going to say you're ducking. We want to see you fight Brian Castano. Brian Castano earned the right to get a rematch, because I'm not saying Brian Castano lost, but I will say it should have been considered a draw. And for that reason, we need to see you two run it back so we can have a clear-cut champion, a clear-cut winner between the two of you. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And then after that, please, give us an early Christmas gift and fight Jarret Hurd. Trust me, I'd love to see that. I'm never going to throw that fight away. I would love to see Charlo fight Jarret. I'd love to see either one of the Charlos fight Jarret Hurd. Please. I mean, you can put Jarret Hurd in there with anybody. I'm going to be happy. Put him in there with Triple G. I'll be happy. Put him in there with Chris Eubank Jr. I'll be happy. Who doesn't want to see Jarret Hurd fight? But yes, at the same time, Jarret Hurd's stock has gone down considerably. With all due respect, considerably, his stock has gone down. So right now, we need to put Jarret Hurd on the shelf. We need to settle our business with Brian Castano, because he's earned it and he has the right to fight you again. And if you do not fight Brian Castano, you will be considered a ducker. And that's just the way it is. But those are my thoughts. I want to know what you guys have to say. You know the routine, drop it down below. And please like and subscribe to this channel.